What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic night. Hope you had a great weekend. It is Sunday night, little after 10:10, and we've got 10 questions for the Eagles heading into week 2 of OTAs. So appreciate all of you tuning in. If you're a sicko like me and you just can't get enough Philadelphia Eagles, well, you're in the right place. So if you're watching live, love to hear your thoughts. You're watching this later, feel free to comment down below. Always down to talk some birds. Appreciate all of you hitting that like button, subscribing, everything you're doing to support the channel, helping this thing grow. Cannot thank you enough. But last week we talked about the couple of days that we practiced. They went bowling the other day. So look, it's OTAs. This is a time of the season where they're just feeling things out, getting a look at some of their draft picks, some of the new additions. And look, we're going to recap, talk about what we talked about last week, and anything on your mind, feel free to throw it in there. But I'll talk about who was absent last week, talk about maybe if they're going to be here this week, if they should be. And then we'll, of course, talk about those 10 questions that I have going into this week. So if you have any questions, you have anything you want to chime in with, you have any answers to these questions, feel free to drop them down below. But let's get this thing rocking and rolling. My man Justin in the building. Let's effing go, my man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Same goes to you, my man Twisted. It has been a long-winded week for me, and I am I'm on the last one, man. That's all I got left. But Twisted, appreciate you. Justin, appreciate you, man. And I can never get enough. So if you guys have anything on your mind, any questions about what was happening last week, I'm going to touch up on those things, but feel free to chime in here. Appreciate you as well, my man, Jameis. Let's effing go, birds. It's a little late. I was feeling a little winded, man, but you guys you always are bringing it out of me. I find that second wind, and let's rock and roll here. So let's talk about who was not here last week. And as much as we say take this all with a grain of salt, take it all with a grain of salt, man. So you see here, if they have an asterisk next to their name, got a little key down here at the bottom. Someone was asking about that yesterday. So you got a key down here. That means they were in attendance but did not practice. So you'll see 3 of those guys in Tyree Cleveland, Avonte Maddox, and Marlon Tuipulotu, who were there but did not practice. But you'll see the rest of the guys that did not participate: Devin Allen, Jaden Hazelwood, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith. And then on defense, you had Derek Barnett, Cox, Graham, Reddick, Scott, and Sweat, in addition to the other 2 I had mentioned. So, look, this is voluntary camp. It's OTAs. It's not even anything. And as I told you before, we do not have mini camp this offseason, but we will have at the end of July a training camp. So right now, this is OTAs, dude, and it's the 3rd phase of the all-season programs. We're just going through the 7-on-7s, full team activities for the first time, so getting a look. So I would say if anybody needs to be there, it would be someone like Jaden Hazelwood. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but I'm just saying, he might want to be there, as well as Devin Allen. I'm sure he's got some track stuff going on there, but Tyree Cleveland as well. He was there, so maybe a little injury, nagging, something going on there, but that's not exactly great news for him. But look, other than that, I'm not going to read into anything. I know some people are like, oh, Avonte Maddox. And it's like, look, man, OTAs, let's not risk anything with the injury he had last year. We're just trying to keep things safe with these guys. And, you talk about Derek Barnett as well coming back from an injury. And we have guys that we want to keep safe. And it's cool to see, some of these other players actually participating. So maybe you'll see some of these veteran dudes coming in and seeing a little bit of work this week, but do not read too much into that stuff. It's a voluntary OTA where they don't have to be there, and I don't want to see anybody getting hurt at something stupid like this. So I mean, it is what it is. But my man, and look, hey, look, Justin, I'm just trying to make this a little bit, or Jesse, I'm just trying to make this a little bit better for all of you guys. And I always try to remember to mention that stuff, at least when I don't, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna definitely mention it. And yesterday I put that together, swear to God, dude, but like 5 minutes ago, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't have that list. And I was working on it earlier, never finished it. So I went back, had to finish it, and then I was like, oh my God, your sidebar doesn't have it. And I have OCD. So I was like, oh, now I got to make that. So when you add that in, I have to create each effing page is something when I have the sidebar, with different topics. So, I obviously didn't even do it tonight. I'm like, sometimes it's extra work, it's extra graphics, but just trying to make this a better experience for you guys. So if I can do that, and you guys, I know a lot of times if somebody's fast forwarding through or just wants to, find a graphic, that way you know what the hell you're looking at there, and you're not just like, why is there an asterisk? You didn't even hear what I said. But doing what I can, my man, and hope you guys enjoy everything I do. And if you ever have any kind of suggestions, please feel free to throw my way. Dude, I'm telling you, I mean it when I say that stuff. So I'm just trying to make this a better place for you guys to always come and get this information. It is going well, my man. Had a great weekend here with the family. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Hope you and your family are doing well. It was a long one. It felt like the fastest weekday ever, but of course, the weekend, that'll fly by too. So that's how it rolls. But appreciate you all tuning in here. And I can't wait either. And look, hey, man, I'm trying not to even remember that stuff because, look, it's dirty stuff. And hey, we lost the game. It is what it is. With nothing we can do to change it. We got to just get better. And we got to hope that it lights a fire under Jalen Hurts' ass, which I do believe it will. And the rest of the guys will be behind him. Fires under their asses as well. Let's effing go. We're building a dynasty here. If you guys missed that show yesterday, go check that out. It's dynasty season. We talked about this for months now, and I will not stress it any more than I can last night. I showed you all the cap space, the draft picks in the future, the free agents in the future, the things that we have done to make me say that this is an effing dynasty. Let's just put it that way, because I feel that this depth chart we looked at, the roster that we have, we are building something special, not just for this year, which I think we can win this damn Super Bowl, but I think for the long haul, a contender that continues to take us to the Super Bowl. And that's what I'm all about, baby. So let's effing go. We'll get our revenge on all of them this season. They try to put us up in a super tough schedule. That's perfectly fine. We had a tough schedule last year. They said, oh, so easy. But we actually had one of the best in NFL history against winning teams. If you actually look at the roster or the records of the teams last year. Sorry, I told you I'm drifting out to sea. But look, man, I think this team, we are going to be built to be a champion. And I'm all about it. Let's effing go, Birds. Love him, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope your father is doing well. And look, man, I told you, you ever need to reach out, please feel free to do so. And hope you're all doing well. And as I always say, you ever need anything, you ever have anything going on, always here as a friend. You guys are always here for me. So always just want to let you know that. Love to see the love being shown down here. We all hope that your father is doing well. Luffy, appreciate you taking the time tonight. Hopefully we can bring you some kind of peace here. And, you were tuning in last week. We talked about, this OTAs last week. You could see the key dates here. We talked about this upcoming week, tomorrow, the 5th, and then, of course, Tuesday, the 6th, and Thursday, the 8th. Will be the OTA dates. We'll talk about all of those throughout those days here. I'll keep you up to date with what went down. And then training camp will be at the end of July. No date set yet, but I will let you know when that happens. Preseason games the 12th, 17th, and 24th. And then the roster cutdowns, only one this season. So August 29th, we will go from 90 to 53. So look, exciting that, some of these other guys will actually get more opportunity, through the end of preseason here to show what they've got. So we don't have to put our starters on the line, or even, your backup depth you don't want to put at risk. So we'll get to see some of these back end guys. Maybe they can win themselves a job. And we've got a lot of great competition here. So very excited to see that. So let's talk about these 10 questions here. Now, we can recap in the sense that, those guys, when looking at the players that were absent because of these things, you saw some changes. And of course, people ran with that. Jack Driscoll was at right tackle because of Lane Johnson being out. They had Cam Jurgens at right guard. You had both Reddick and Graham out, and then even Derek Barnett as well. So Nolan Smith stepped right in and was starting. Avonte Maddox was out, so Zach McPherson got some inside work, which we talked about heading into OTAs, how, he is a versatile defensive back and needs to be getting work inside if he's going to win a job. He could push out Josiah Scott, who had missed OTAs. So, look, a lot of competition is going to be had in the next couple of months here, but already, you're seeing how these things are going to work out. So let's take a look at these 10 questions, and this will allow us to talk about, last week also. Now, Up first, we got who will step up between punters Ty Zentner and Aaron Sippos. So last week, Sippos definitely got the better of him in the second practice there, where they were really taking notes of it. And Zentner kind of struggled at times. But look, his first OTA probably crapping his pants there. Undrafted kid getting brought in to the Philadelphia effing Eagles. So look, just step it up. Let's see what you got this week. I'm really keeping my eye on that. That's very important. And Sippos, you need to get your shit together if you're going to be our punter. So let's find out who wants to win that job these next couple of months. Then at number 2, will Christian Ellis get reps at linebacker 2? Now, we all know Nakobe Dean has that green dot. So are we going to see, Christian Ellis next to him getting work? Because look, he had a great last week. He did pretty good in the second practice there, had an interception. And we've talked about Christian Ellis, when he was brought up to the active roster last year, at the end, he did great on special teams, but this kid can actually cover. So we talked about, could he win the job? Now, he can also pass rush. So this kid's got quite a versatile skill set, and I wouldn't mind him, and I think he does definitely make this active roster, but could he push out someone like Nicholas Morrow? So I could see him getting some reps with the first team defense. Maybe you see Christian Ellis next to Nakobe Dean. So that is a question I definitely had there. Then at number 3, and then I'll get to your questions. I'll try to break it up here a little bit. Will Tyler Steen get reps at right guard 1? Now, some of these are questions we know the answer to, but let's make it more, how will he do with those reps at right guard 1? So maybe they don't feel comfortable yet. They're teaching him the guard position, the same as Cam Jurgens moving to guard. And, this dude was a left tackle at Alabama. He's got Jeff Stoutland teaching him. I think he'll be just fine. But I still think Tyler Steen is definitely going to be in the competition there. So the question is, at OTAs, will they give him a little dabble at work at right guard 1? So we shall see. But those are definitely those top 3. I think, some questions we're definitely heading into the season asking ourselves. So we shall see. Can't wait for another minute. I can't wait either. It makes me want to lose my effing mind. Let's effing go. You know it, my man. Brian, I appreciate you tuning in, my dude. Numerous players said they have a chip. Oh, yeah. And they do. And they're pissed about how it went down, the Water World field. We're going to come out and punch everyone right in the mouth, and I can't wait. And appreciate you, my dude. And if you guys are getting anything from this, do me a favor and hit that like button. Really does help. And if you're watching this later, comment after, because those comments afterwards help more people come too. That puts me in the algorithm. So, and I always tell you, if you have questions after the show or you just want to continue talking birds, feel free to comment on these videos. I will always get back to you. So appreciate all of your support. So I'm ready to ride. X-Dog, appreciate you tuning in, dude. Ryan as well. Thank you, my man. Want to see Brown step up so he wins Jurgens and Steen. So much death battles. Yeah, man, great battles that we're going to get lots of content out of to be able to talk about this offseason. Can't wait to see a lot of these battles. Kaylee Ringo should be signed here, man. I really think that, it's whatever with his contract stuff. It's always just about bonuses. And with him being like a 4th-round pick, I mean, I'm sure he's trying to get his. You never know what's going to happen. And look, we're going to talk about him in a second here on the field. But I think that will get done. Howie will get it done. And, we'll figure things out here. And it's really, that's what it's about right now in this, when they're not signing, it's just because the cap's set, the numbers are set. It's just what's not is the bonuses and the offset language, which just means if he were to be cut before his contract is up, well, then that's the offset language, the money, all that stuff goes into. So you got to agree on all that stuff. How he's getting paid, blah, 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 blah. So that's why those things happen. But I think he'll be signed, and I think we'll be all right here. And we're going to talk about him here in a second here. But let's keep it moving down the line. Number 4, will Olamide Zaccheaus get reps at wide receiver 3? And I think he will, because I think you want to see competition. You want Quez to know, yeah, it's your job, but yeah, we're also looking at somebody else who could push you. And I think you can see some other guys. You always want to dabble and move guys around, but you also want people to feel comfortable with where their job is at. I think Olamide is definitely worthy of being a starter in this offense. So if Quez does not step it up, which, he was like the first on the field, he was out there, getting out. Well, I don't think he was the first on the field, but I'm just saying he's out there kicking ass. And I like to see what Quez Watkins is doing. And I like that there's a chip on his shoulder, like, was just mentioned here. A lot of these players have that. So Olamide, push for it. And if we've got 2 good, a 3A, 3B, I'm fine with that, man. 3 and 4, if they're both kicking ass, I'm down with it. We had Pascal last year. I'd like Zacchaeus just to essentially take over for him, and we're rocking and rolling. Quez just not drop balls in very important situations. Now, number 5, you guys know, love me, Sidney Brown. So very excited to see him at safety, but will he get work with the starters next to Reed, next to Terrell? I'm sure we're going to dabble, move guys around, and I've talked about it. I think Sidney Brown, regardless of starting or not on the depth chart, he will see lots of reps because he is a very versatile defensive back. We talked about what he did at Illinois and what he was able to do as a dime linebacker, as a nickel corner, as a safety, and why we wanted to, why I wanted us to draft him so desperately. And being able to see him now, as a part of this defense, I'm losing my mind. I can't wait to actually watch him in person. And man, this kid, I think he's just the perfect fit. So whenever it happens, but we've got Reed Blankenship and Terrell Edmonds, who I think are going to help him grow, and Reed still growing, and Edmonds being a veteran. I think he's really going to help these guys. So I think very, very excited about the safety position. So can't wait to see what he does with those reps if he gets them this week. Now, will Kyron Johnson get more reps at linebacker? Now, he actually, we talked about how versatile he is. He's got like 4.3 speed, man. But he had some work at off-ball linebacker. You know that he plays outside linebacker. He's an edge rusher, Sam linebacker, but he's got that versatile skill set, right? So his size, we don't mind those skinnier guys. And I think, a little bit of work off-ball is not a bad thing to be versatile. So if Kyron can do that and get some more work there, why not? So, this kind of ties into the week 1 recap, just talking about what he did last week, and he got some reps there. So I'd like to see that again. Now, number 7, we've got, will Kelee Ringo get reps at cornerback 2? Now, the reason I bring that up, and, I told you we were going to mention him here because he actually played with the second team defense during OTAs, and, he's out there playing without that contract. So, hey-oh. But look, if he Bradbury was out as well, as you guys saw there. But if you have someone like Josh Jobe and Greedy Williams, who were starting opposite of Darius Slay last week, they were both dabbling a little bit there. I like to see that. So Kelee Ringo was working with the second team. Maybe give him a little look at cornerback 2. I know they like him a lot. They traded up for him. I think it was a great position to draft him. So excited to see what they can do with him. I know stiff hips, good. Well, we'll see how he does. I think in this defense, he could do pretty damn well. So excited for him. Now, the next one was Josh Jobe, who I just mentioned, got work as cornerback 2. Well, Josh Jobe gets some reps as a nickel cornerback. Now, we talked about this. Now, when I had mentioned Zach McPherson doing this, also mentioned Josh Jobe, mentioned Mario Goodrich. Maybe you got guys like Mekhi Garner. You've got Eli Ricks. Get them inside work, not, just outside work. Get them some safety work, versatile defensive backs. And I think Josh Jobe is one of those guys that last year when I had him making the team as an undrafted free agent, if you guys were watching, you remember, I really liked this kid because when I got to go to that closed practice, I saw him and I'm like, dude, I thought that was James Bradbury at one point. He's built, he's thick. I love him as a corner, and he's got long arms. And I think that one of the things that's, stuck out originally was the fact that he was versatile, could play inside, outside, a little bit of safety work. And he was showing that when I was there. And I think that we're going to get to see a little bit of that. So maybe you see him as nickel cornerback 1, maybe not. But you saw Zach McPherson getting some work there with Avonte Maddox out. And I think McPherson, we talked about that when we drafted him, that's what I liked. And they talked, he's the outside corner, but it's like, why not give him some work inside? And dude, whatever, man. And now he's finally getting some work there. I think Zach McPherson, he could do a lot better with Sean Desai as his defensive coordinator. So I'm excited to see, whoever's getting work there. But some intriguing questions there at nickel corner, outside corner. We'll see who the depth is. A lot of competition there. And then number 9, where will edge rusher Janarius Robinson get reps? Now, I'm talking about, will he get it with the second team? Will he maybe get a shot with the first team? Now, Nolan Smith has to get those. Day one, you got to get people excited. And he's way ahead of, Janarius Robinson on the depth chart. I'm just saying, will he get some reps? If, again, you're missing guys like Reddick, Graham, and Derek Barnett. And who knows throughout the season what can happen. Guys have to be able to step into the rotation, be comfortable playing with other guys. So that's the time you dabble with this kind of stuff. So maybe you throw Janarius Robinson in there. Maybe he gets to see some work with the second team defense. We shall see. But we got him last year, and I thought, that was an intriguing pickup for us. Didn't really cost us much. And I thought, let's see what he's got. And, we traded for Robert Quinn, who obviously did absolutely nothing for a 4th-round pick, but it is what it is, and we shall find out. NASCAR package, who's your 5 pass rushers? Well, he's never really ran a NASCAR package, but one of the things I talk about with Sean Desai is he will run certain packages where he has 2 pass rushers next to each other. And I saw it a couple times with the Bears, and I've seen other people talking about it, and that's something that stood out, but I don't think it was something that really happen all the time. So, man, if you have Reddick and Sweat next to each other, I think that's pretty scary. But just the fact that, you've got versatile, defensive line. Now, let's take a look here, Xavier. I've got some of these defensive fronts here. Now, you're looking at this like 5-man front. It's kind of effing scary here. Now, I think this one's a 4-3 under, but it's essentially, it's like a 5-man front when you're looking at it. If Reddick, is putting his hand in the dirt, but we're always doing wild stuff where you can move the defense around. You can, you have versatile pieces here. But I think that, you see here, dude, Sweat, Carter, Jordan Davis, Cox, Reddick. Now, if you want more of a pass rushing front, a NASCAR type front, we all know that Brandon Graham is a versatile defensive lineman. And not only is he a defensive end in a 4-man front, but in a 5-man front, he can not only, not really at this age, outside edge rusher too much, but you can kick him inside. You can have him as that defensive end, type guy in a 5-man front, which, essentially, dude, you're just looking at a 5-2 here. Like that's, the 5-man front, like that's really, it's all about how they line up. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago, but you see here, man, if you're just, replacing some of these guys like Milton Williams, and you're getting Brandon Graham in there instead of Jordan Davis, Fletcher. Now, Fletch can still pass rush. So if you want Fletch still in there, that's perfectly fine too. Put him at the nose, and, you got Jalen Carter there. But you've got a lot of effing depth. Contavious Street, a versatile piece as well. Yeah, man. I think that, look, I think we're going to be able to break that sack record this year. So, really, he's going to be able to get creative here with this defensive line. And I cannot stress enough to you all how much that gets me effing excited. So let me find the graphic down here to get back. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, man, I think that there's some excitement to be had about this defense. And last year, top 3, but I think we're going to be even better. I really think we're going to be one of the effing best. So it's sicko season. Appreciate you tuning in, my man Forte. You know it. Let's effing go. But look, man, Nolan Smith, Sweat, BG, Carter, Reddick. Well, no, I wouldn't have Sweat inside. You can't have Sweat doing that. But as I just mentioned there, you could have Cox in the middle. You could have Carter and also BG outside of them. You could have Milton Williams. A lot of those guys are pass rushing type defensive linemen. So there's a reason, we're getting a certain mold when we're breaking down why we're interested in some of these guys in the draft and all that. And, when you look at what Jalen Carter is able to do, and that's everything, that I think he actually adds a better piece than what Javon Hargrave was able to bring. And I know that sounds crazy. I know he had a lot of sacks, and I'm not saying Hargrave's not amazing, but I think Jalen Carter's a much better fit for what we're trying to do here. And I think this defense is going to destroy. I mean, Jordan Davis healthy. Let's effing go. You added Nolan Smith outside for depth behind Reddick and Sweat. You've got BG. You've got Derek Barnett back. You've got, the linebackers, Dean and Morrow behind them. It's going to be intriguing to see. But the Georgia Bulldogs, man, I mean, these guys are going to play together well. And I think that this defense, talk about the trio of corners, very exciting. The safeties we have. Man, you're going to see a lot of great different fronts. And we talked about, man, all of the different, versatile pieces that we have. And there's excitement to be had. I will not lie to you. So looking forward to that and hoping I get some up close and personal looks at this defense this offseason. But let's finish it off with the last question. I think we all know that this will definitely happen. But what's it going to look like? So you got DeAndre Swift. You've got Rashad Penny. And which one is going to get those reps first at RB1? So DeAndre Swift, man, holy hell. In this offense, I think that he's going to do some really fun things. You talk about Miles Sanders. I really like Miles Sanders, but not the greatest at catching the ball out of the backfield, not the greatest at blocking. But DeAndre Swift, one thing he can do is definitely catch that damn ball. Had like over 50 catches last year. And I think that in this offense, he could definitely be able to do that. We'll definitely be making plays to get him to do that. Rashad Penny can catch the ball too. And, Kenneth Gainwell, I think that these are pieces that really fit what we're trying to do here. And they can pound the rock behind this offensive line. You saw Kenny G is getting bigger. So I think that this running game is about to be very exciting. But we started off OTAs with Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell getting those first team reps, and perfectly fine with that. Those guys, the OGs, they deserve those. So happy to see them get those reps. But now let's see our new pieces and let's see how fun this thing is. And Trey Sermon, I want to see what he's got. And you've got Kennedy Brooks still here. These guys, they need to show what they've got if they can beat out Boston Scott for that 4th spot possibly. And look, the competition's all over the place, and we will continue talking about that throughout this off season. But I hope you enjoyed those 10 questions. If you have any questions for yourself or about this, whatever the hell's going on this off season, feel free to ask it down below. But I'm going to get rolling out here. All I've got for you. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor and hit that like button. But I feel like the Eagles should have an international exemption guy when I count against the roster. Well, we did. And we have Matt Leo, but that ran up. So he no longer has that exemption. Would love to see a pro set. Hey, you're going to see all kinds of different sets. And the offense and the defense, we talked about this already. This entire, thing that we did last year, I think you're building on it. You're going to see different things, but I think that you're going to see more creative. And I cannot stress enough the defense. I think the fans will finally be on board with the defense, which will be nice. And Sean Desai, he's going to run a much better version of the Vic Fangio because they all have their own styles here. So I think that a lot of excitement to be had about this defense. Brian Johnson, his relationship with Jalen Hurts, this offense, oh my God. And you're going to see things where you run the ball a lot more to protect Jalen Hurts. You don't have to be doing all that stuff, but you still got to use your MVP quarterback. You paid him for a reason, and I think he's going to have another MVP type season. So let's go win that thing. But most importantly, let's go win that Super Bowl. I was due GLA. Dude, he's gonna, and that's, a lot of what we did last year, you'll see, but a lot different too. And we talk about this, that was the thing I loved about Jonathan Gannon's defense, all the disguises with the multiple fronts and having the versatility. Well, that's the same thing you're going to see with Desai. Now he's going to have his own variations of these disguises. So I'm all about this new age Vic Fangio tree. That's what it all comes from. That's what I like. So Sean Desai, you guys heard me talking about it. If we're not, elevating Denard Wilson, giving him the promotion, you have to hire Sean Desai. And I was adamant about that during the coaching process. You can go to the playlist, check out that coaching search stuff. You heard the praise I had for Sean Desai. I'm very excited about him. Brian Johnson was my pick for offensive coordinator, and you know how excited I am there. So let's effing go, baby. You foresee the Eagles D having a short time span to get up to speed? No, it's almost the same stuff. So it's going to be very easy, very simple, running almost, like I said, from the Fangio tree. So you're getting a lot of the same kind of stuff, guys that are, playing in that 5-man front, 3-man fronts, but you'll see 4-man fronts. So many different things that we saw last year, but I think more exciting, more press at certain times. I think that a lot of match zone is really what it is, not press really. That you're not going to see much of that, but I think that just the way he does certain things that people were asking, you'll see it at least enough that people, I think, will stop asking. But a lot of the same stuff, man, the match zone concepts inside of, the Vic Fangio principles. And I think that, cover 8, cover 6, things we talked about, for me, the quarter, half, and then the half quarter defense, where you're playing essentially 2 different defenses on half of the side of the field. So for me, I think there's a lot of talent here, and there's a lot of questions to be had, but I don't think it's going to take any kind of time for adjustments here. A lot of young guys are going to be up to speed with what's going on. They've played in pro-style defenses, so very excited about it. Are you still on Facebook? I think, I'm definitely on Facebook, on the road to victory. But Jimmy Smith, I'm sure you'll be able to find me. I'm sure there's 10,000 of them, but if you go to On the Road to Victory, find your way. But yeah, man. I'm not on there much, but I try to post my stuff on there so that you guys know where to go. But I appreciate each and every one of you. If any of you ever need me, I always tell you, reach out on any of those platforms. If I missed it, message me again. I will always get back to you. I get a lot of stuff that, spam and everything where I will miss stuff. So feel free to message me again. Let me know I miss you, whatever. And I will always tell you that stuff because I would never ignore you. And you guys are always here for me. And I cannot thank you enough. So I always extend my hand no matter what is going on. You always have someone here for you, whether you just want to talk about birds, you got something going on in life. I cannot thank you guys enough. So always try to be there for you. That's all I've got for you tonight. Appreciate you all taking the time, whether you were watching it live, watching this later. Appreciate you commenting, liking it, subscribing to the channel, everything you're doing. Cannot thank you enough. Psyched that I got online with you because of my insane ED hours. But yo, appreciate you. And hey, I really appreciate that, Jeff. Do my best to try to make these whenever I possibly can. Today was a long one. Didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it. So glad I was able to jump on. And so many of you were here commenting with some great questions. Love talking with you guys. And I'll be back tomorrow, baby. Let's effing go. And Jeff, you ever miss these shows? I was just saying earlier, please comment. Not only does it, help the algorithm, it helps this channel grow, but, it gives us a chance to talk some birds, my man. That's the most important thing. So I'm always here for you, man. And if you miss it or watching it later, please comment, man. I'm down, and we'll have whatever comment or conversation you want to talk about, man. Let's go. But I cannot thank you guys enough, and thank you for the kind words. Doing my best to keep you guys entertained and up to date with everything throughout this off season. And I've got a bunch of playlists on my YouTube. So if you're looking for anything, roster moves, cap numbers, whatever the hell's going on with the draft, the free agency, there's a playlist for it. So go check it out. And if you guys are watching that content, you can definitely check that out. But look, I'm going to be trying to go to as many open practices, go to some closed practices, get you some in-depth stuff. But if you guys are going any of those things, please feel free to reach out. Always trying to meet up with you guys. And Seamus, looking forward to talking to you, my man, and always trying to have a good time and enjoy our birds together. But I really appreciate that, Jeff. And whatever's on your mind, man, you feel free to let me know. I'm always down to talk some birds, my dude. And Twisted, appreciate you taking the time. Jeff, Seamus, Robert, Jesse, everybody that tuned in tonight. I'm sure I'm forgetting all of you. Twisted, Walt, Xavier, Forte. I'm going through the list now. Ryan, my man. Eagles landed. Justin was in here. And X-Dog, Brian. He hate me also. William, my dude, was here. But you guys are awesome. And I want to let you all know. So I think I hit up on all of you. But if you're watching this later, feel free to comment. We'll keep this conversation going, baby, because excitement's in the air. We're getting that effing trophy. Let's effing go. But going to need you to join me here in a second. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you tonight. Until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!